woman first, you want that nation to grow. That person wasn't wrong at all. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your number one radio experience you can always count on. And we have about 14 minutes to top of the hour, 11 o'clock. Remember, I told you that we're going to have a powerful session here on radio today. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Gender inequality has continued to dominate conversations year in, year out. We talk about it in conferences, on panels, on radio, TV, everywhere. But the real change begins when someone takes the bold step to move beyond conversation and becomes the difference. And today we are privileged to host a delectable Nigerian woman who has done exactly that. Someone who has distinguished herself not just by title, but by impact. She is a multifaceted media executive, a passionate peace advocate, a committed humanitarian. She is the founder of the AJU Morgan Elumelu Foundation, an organization that is deliberately confronting gender inequality, empowering young people, and tackling poverty at the grassroots. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Ambassador Mary Jane Aju Elumelu James. She is the CEO and founder of Aju Morgan Elumelu Foundation. Good morning, Ma, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. You're very, very good.
Thank you.
Very good, ma'am.
All right. So as we go into our conversation, 35%. Besides, that song you just listened to is a song that she put together. So you can see when I say that multifaceted, I am not saying that for cloud. I'm saying it because I know it. And she's been able to put her voice to the ground. She's been able to walk the talk. Now we have her in the studio to talk about the progress of what she's been doing so far. Let's talk about your assessment of gender equality so far before we go into the 35%. What is your assessment? What progress do you think we've made? Or from your assessment, is there even any progress?
Okay, this is not only Nigerian or African problem. It was worldwide. So in 1995, the world came together in Beijing, and that was a Beijing Declaration. It was about 189 countries, and as at this time, it is. I am now happy to tell you that Nigeria ranks 185 right now of those countries that have not implemented. What it is that the entire world saw the trajectory that women were not being in leadership positions.
Yeah.
You know, and as you can see from evidence that in Nigeria, out of 109 senators, only 4 are women, and out of 360 House of Rep members, only 16 are women. And that gives us about 4.1 or thereabout of percentage of women that are in leadership positions. And we're going to have to change that. And it's not enough to, there is a problem. We know there's a problem. And women are beginning to resonate and saying, you know what, it's not about fighting men. It's about looking at our country, and I see saying that 50% of the brains in our country are not being used. Nigerian women are known all over the world for doing great things. And then when you come to your country, women cannot even sit on the table to make decisions pertaining women, because if we only 4%, that means that men are making decisions pertaining women.
Yeah.
And you know, when women are in government, we have broad, I'm not saying that men don't, but you know, we also have a bird's eye view of what's going on in government and try to contribute to it. And that's where this, or why this struggle is germane. And a lot of times we are beginning to cry, we are beginning to agitate, we're beginning to amplify our voices everywhere in the country right now. And that's what we should do. For every woman out there this morning, listen to me and know that you can do better. You know, it's not enough just blaming men. It's not even about men's fault. And as we go through this program, I'll let you know and I'll make you believe that, you know, part of the things that the majority of the things that are going on should truly be attributed to women. So every woman out there, you're going to have to sit up. It's not enough talking about women. You got to amplify your voices. For anywhere you are, you can use that to talk to younger ones, to talk to authorities at your job, and all of that. So it is good. You cannot be quiet about this.
All right, so true. You cannot be quiet, and thank God the ambassador is using her voice to do exactly what it's about. Okay, man, now let's talk about the low female representation when it comes to governance, because despite our progress, let's say from our recent democracy and everything, women hold only 3.67% of seats in the Senate and 3.61% in the House of Reps. Now, what are some of the strategies you think should be put in place to ensure that Nigerian women and their voices are represented in Nigeria's governance?
First of all, it starts with us. As you can see, the numbers are staggering and they are abysmal. And it starts with us to start crying about it, to start talking about it, to start amplifying our voices. And then I'm going to say that the House of Assembly, they are aware of this, evidenced by the fact that they're looking at that reserved seats for women. And I don't know how far they've gone with that, but I will say that it looks like it's a constitutional thing right now. We're at that stage where, something has to give. Now, the women, you have to realize that you have to get up from wherever you are. No one is going to come save you. Not the men are going to come save you. And every man out there is saying they don't like what is going on. Those that are he's for she's, they don't like what's going on in the country. And in their little ways, they're trying to say, no, this is not good. But what it is if you look at during the voting period, during the campaigns, is women that are under the sun, come rain, come shine, is the women that go out there and campaign. And there's more women that vote. But when it comes to voting time, you see that the women are not voting women. I don't understand that. If we need to get out of this problem, women, you're going to have to look at, you're going to have to be intentional about it to find women with capacity, morality, women that will go out there. You have to keep your eyes open to amplify women and bring them to the fore. Women that you want to lead you, and that will not go out there and mess up. Those are the kind of things. So women you need, because we have more voting power. So every woman should look out. We don't care what party that you belong, be it APC, PDP, LP, and to mention but a few. But wherever you are, look for that woman that is able, that is transparent, has compassion, has capacity, and has morality, that you can say, hey, let's look at this woman. Form your little cliques and say, okay, we want this woman. And make sure that you campaign vigorously for this woman and vote for them. Because if you don't, if you look at all the social programs that are not being touched right now, the children going to school, school lunches, husbands, healthcare system, insurances, and if you don't, who is going to take care of our children? And women, when we get out to the House of Assembly, that your voices are going to resonate to where education becomes a priority, childcare becomes priority, feeding of children, and taking care of institution, healthcare, and all of that. So this is what you can do. Your vote, that's your vote. That one vote that you think it's not enough. That one vote is powerful. And then be conscious whenever you see men and women around, and try and put out good women so that you can vote for them to make impacts in what we're doing today in Nigeria.
To make impact. Now, I love the fact that you said it's not just about because it's a woman, but because women are also competent.
Right.
It's not because, it's a gender thing, we're not here to fight the men. It's about making sure that the women who are also equally as gifted, as competent as the men, should also be given that chance to represent. Now, I wanted to take you back in time when we had a time when famous Nigerian politician Sarah Jibril, she contested in the primaries of our party, and she was the only person that voted for herself. It's not because there were no women there, but it was quite absurd that even in the fight for equality, I know that the fight for equality has gotten a bit of more popularity now than at least it was back in the years. But right now, looking at that and the progress we've made so far, do you think that things have changed? Do you think that if a woman puts her foot to the ground and say, "Hey, women, vote for me" and everything, do you think that women in our church minds will really go out there and do this?
Yeah, if you look at what's going on now, women are rising up. All little groups are crying out. In grassroots, the state level, the LGA level. Sarah Jibril's own was oh gosh. It was a bad time in history for women.
Yeah.
It's just when I sit down and ponder over it, I just cannot wrap my head around the fact that women are more women that vote, and you allow your fellow gender to be by herself. And that's truly a bad time in history. But I think things are changing. When I started this Women for 35%, we had a lunch last year in May, and we were supported by Jamia Mata Arawa, 19 states, Women Voters for Nigeria, Women's Societies, Christian Women Association, Muslim Women Association, YMCA, YWCA, all of these women came. They didn't know who I was, but all I did was got in touch with them. We had a full hall, like shoulder to shoulder. That would tell you that the tide has changed, and women know that we are the only ones that can save ourselves. So yeah, absolutely. Comparing that with now, we're miles and miles away, from that dark history.
From that dark history. I love
Right.
the fact that you repute it as being a very dark moment in our history. Thank you so much. In case you just tuned in, this is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and today we're talking gender inclusion, and we're privileged to have a renowned gender advocate, a renowned humanitarian. I'm talking about Aju Morgan Elumelu, Ambassador Aju Morgan Elumelu James, rather. She is the CEO and founder of Aju Morgan Elumelu Foundation. She's right here in the studio with us this morning, and I must say she's been doing justice to advocating for women. Now, Ma, let's come to the 35%, the bulk of the matter. This is where there's been a lot of contention, even though there is a part that says at least 35% should be reserved for women representation. We've not seen that over time. Even when you check the papers, you see that different groups, different courts, different courtrooms will say, implement this. Can this be upheld? Can this be adhered to? What is your assessment of this so far? Sorry, and now before you react, now some people will even trace it back to the political parties. Now, before you have people on the platform, you need the parties, because we run a democracy where there are different political parties, and these parties have flag bearers. And before flag bearers emerge, there is an in-house contest where people get to contest and everything. So if you look at it from that angle, and then coming all the way to the national stage, what is your assessment? Have we really been able to uphold this 35%?
No, we have not. Evidenced by a recent happening when it came to the, I think the ambassadorial positions. Out of 68 ambassadors, I believe only 59 were men.
Yeah, I think
So that would tell you that we have a problem, an existing problem. It's not that women are not qualified. Now, this is what's going on. It starts, like you said, from the party level, the primaries. What is stopping us? What is stopping us really? The bulk of it is money. When you look at what's going on, women have no one to hold, nobody, no helper.
Okay.
To, you know how men are, they see someone very brilliant, and they'll say, hey, I want to make sure that I sponsor you to Senate, or I sponsor you. But we don't have that. We women, we don't, because everywhere right now, women for 35%, we're all over the country. I have now hundreds of coordinators everywhere in Nigeria right now, in the states. But those of them that want to run, it's one thing stands true. They all complain about money.
Finances.
There's no money. How the heck will anyone, any woman, if you think of what's going on, women, we're the ones that have children. We're the ones that go out and have babies. Even if you have a job, you have to break if you're having a baby to take care of baby.
Yes,
You
yes.
know. So where do we have the money? The resources are not there. So that is a major thing. And you know, I look into all the political parties. There's just one political party that I know that will give or that has given free tickets for women, and that has to be done. We don't have the money, you know. So if we're able, we're not trying. Somebody said, "Oh, you guys want special." We have 1,000 years between the men and the women, you know. So we truly don't have the resources, and that's why we're trying to see, can the National Assembly change some past laws, to change some policy, at least give us some years to catch up, you know, to have that 35% somehow. You know, if you look at the book that I have, Power of Prejudice, you know, Power of Prejudice, that's my book by Aju Elumelu, for women for 35%. We need to really see, if you chronicle what is in that book, you will see that, you know, it's endemic. You know, a lot of things holding women back, and the political parties should give women a soft landing. Just like you said, you know, before we can get into the primaries, we have to buy a form.
Yes.
Okay, and forms don't come cheap.
No, they don't.
Where am I going to get 50 million just to buy a form? You know, at least give us some legging, you know, to buy that form. And well, we do need, and that's why that 35% affirmative action is so important, so that women are put across board. We're talking about politics right now. You know, we're talking about everywhere in the country. And the oil company put women in leadership position. The banks have done a good job. You see a lot of women executives out there. They've really done a good job.
Yeah.
And there are other companies, hundreds of companies that can, you know, just try and put women in leadership positions, so that when, like, okay, look at what's going on with Senate right now.
Yes.
You know, you have 109 people, 109, divide that chair out to 10 different chairs. How many tables? Divide it to 10 different tables or 11 tables. How many tables will a woman occupy right now? Only 4 tables. You know, so it is, we're really talking to all these, the lawmakers, to see how, and then the party leaders, party chairman, you know, we're tired of just getting the women leader position. And that's all that we really get in. That's the highest thing that they give women in
Political parties.
in political parties, and we're tired of that. You know, we need to be where decisions are being made, and that's what affirmative action tends to solve. 35% for now.
Okay.
You know.
Very powerful, I must say. You are listening to the voice of Ambassador Mary Jane Aju Elumelu James. She is a multifaceted Nigerian media executive, a peace advocate, and humanitarian. She's also the founder of the Aju Morgan Elumelu Foundation. And today we are discussing gender equality and why women must be included in governance. And today we are taking a focus at a 35% gender affirmative policy. Now, Ma, we've spoken about the political parties. Now let's come to the states, because when you look at Nigeria, we have federating units. We have the states. We serve as part of the components that make up Nigeria. Now, for what I know, for Kwara State, at some point there was a law that was passed mandating that there should be that 35 to 65% ratio of women included in political appointments to some extent. But imagine that out of 36 states and the FCT, I just mentioned one state that has made efforts. Now, what is your assessment of this? Has there been like an interface with some of these governors to see how women can be included. And like you said, most times women are relegated to just women leader or woman leader, I would say, and then sometimes a deputy governor. At least the closest we've gone is deputy governor, and we all know how that is much also decorative
Right.
than practical. Even though, with all due respect, it is still a very important part of governance, but most times the governor gets to call the shot. So now let's talk about that. What do you think that, what is the role that states can play? Because we are only mentioning Kwara out of 36 states and the FCT. What role can these states play to support this 35% affirmative policy?
I doff my heart for the governor of Kwara. What's his name?
Abdulaziz.
Aziz. Yes, Abdul Aziz. I doff my heart for you. Part of the thing is for lawmakers in the state to look at this.
Abdurrahman, rather. Abdurrahman,
yes.
yes,
Okay,
please. Sorry.
Abdul
Correction to that.
Razak.
Abdurrahman Razak. Abdurrazak.
Abdul Razak.
Yes.
Apologies, Your Excellency. But that's where the lawmakers in the states come through, because you need lawmakers to mandate these companies
Okay.
to at least give 35% affirmative action in employment, in everything, in in government, in different companies, at schools, and across board. Without making it a policy change, a constitutional thing, people are still going to do what they want to do with women and make it seem like it's a favor. And then there are other governors, maybe that, I don't know how the Lagos state is. I think they're doing a few things when it comes to women, but a lot of governors, what they do is just give that, is it commissioner for women position, deputy governor, and that's it. That we're bigger than that. We run things overseas. You know what I'm saying? The likes of Okonjo-Iweala and Dora did it. We have so many women that have come before us that have shown that we are able and capable to handle the affairs of our country. To sit on the same table and make rules and regulations with everybody. To where things. By not doing that right now, we're not utilizing the capacity and the ability of one section of the nation, and that's very unfortunate.
Wow. I must say that you've said so much, Mara, and for everything you've said, very thought-provoking. And I think every person listening that is interested in inclusion would understand where you are coming from as regards this discussion. And I'm hoping that it's not just going to be an echo chamber, it's going to be where we get to use these points that you've made and everything you've deliberated upon here this morning to make the change that we want to see. I would love the fact that you are leading the charge and you are being the change you want to see, because sometimes it's just about the talking, but for people like you walking the talk, it's not easy, and we want to say well done on that.
Yeah, I want to truly thank all the men, because there's so many men that support women and the Women Initiative.
Yeah.
And then I want to equally encourage all the women. It doesn't matter what you do, but do something. Lend your voice, do the right thing. Wherever you are already, if you're fortunate to be in a position, make it possible for other women to come in by your conduct and by being intentional about being a voice for women. Wherever you are, you can make that change. You can make that change, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, you can make that change wherever you are. Thank you so much, Ma. We appreciate you for joining us today on Eagles FM Abuja.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic. Eagles SM. Keep on listening to them. 102.3 Eagles FM.
Abuja. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much for having me.
Thank you. And I think I'll just round it up by saying that currently the world has at least 29 women leaders. Yes, women who are
Woo!
in leadership position. What will be wrong if Nigeria gets to join this league?
Absolutely.
I'm hoping for that day when Nigeria would also say that we have a female president. It's possible. Honestly, it is possible. And it starts with you and I. Thank you so much again, Ma, for joining us today right here on Eagles FM Abuja. I'm talking about Ambassador Mary Jane Aju Elumelu James. Thank you so much, Ma. God bless you.
Amen. Bless you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.